No lights needed right now as the sun is out. It is the middle of the day as we're getting ready for qualifying here for the Daytona 250. But first, we've got two dual races to set the lineup for the Daytona 250. So we're going to have three races tonight. First two races will be the duels, 15-lap duels. It'll set the lineup for the Daytona 250. Which will be starting shortly after the duels tonight. We've got 5.5 minutes of practice left before qualifying starts. Now, before we go any further, allow me to introduce ourselves. I'm Joshua Coppernoll. I've got Adam Kuhn with me, and we're going to have one other person joining us here in a little bit. But Adam, how are you doing?
Evening, Josh. I'm doing well. This should be a very fun night of racing here at Daytona. Another fun night at Daytona. 250 miles set up last, I should say, after the dual races you mentioned. First, we got 5 minutes of qualifying starting in a little bit once this practice session wraps up. So I think it's going to be a lot of interesting storylines tonight, a lot of interesting stuff going on, and it's the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series, so it's going to be very dramatic once we get towards the end of the main event tonight.
And it should be a real fun one. I'm looking forward to this. These guys always put on a great show. And another season of SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series getting underway. A couple weeks ago we had the Clash, and if you missed that one, there was a reason I said no lights needed right now. It was the DAYTONA Clash, as I was told by a driver. The lights were on, but you couldn't see out of them. I mean, the track was so dark. It was the legacy version of Daytona. And what a wild one that was. But we're here. This is the current version of Daytona. So if we do need lights, they should work.
Yeah, I mentioned that Clash a couple weeks ago. Sean Kasayan ended up winning that race. Pretty interesting so far, Josh. He has not turned a lap in this session in practice. Only 30 minutes for these drivers tonight before we get into the dual races. Before we get into qualifying and then the dual races. So it should be an interesting night for the number 4, Sean Kasayan. Not having to deal with the bumpy track and not having to deal with pitch black conditions and just trying to just risk it all without seeing anything like they were unable to a few weeks ago. So a lot different here this week, but I think he's going to be a really tough competitor tonight, Josh, with what we've seen from him in every other league he competes in JCTV.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be one to watch out for as well. But this is Daytona. Anything can happen. Anybody can win, and we very well might just see an upset winner tonight. Drivers are out on track, just getting some last practice laps in. Currently, practice is being led by Pierce Maffitt. Hunter Collier, Brian Lorenzo, Declan George, and Devin Frank are the top 5. Looks like we've got a little pit party going on. Now, normally I would ask about now who our picks to win are, but we got the duels first, and we don't know who's going to be in Duel 1, who's going to be in Duel 2, so I'm not going to ask who your pick to win is. We're just we'll hold off on that until we actually get to the Daytona 250. We do have a couple of in-race reporters tonight. Wes Gallo and Cody Webster going to be our in-race reporters tonight. It'll be fun to see what they have to say.
Yeah, Wes Gallo had a pretty good run going last weekend, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago in the Clash, and he was a lot of fun to watch. I think he's going to be very aggressive again tonight, and he's right now out on track in the final seconds of this practice session, running right now in a pack, so trying to get all the information he can before we head into this dual race in just a few moments. As Hunter Collier was doing donuts there on the apron, it might have clipped a few people in that pack.
And the time has expired. Ollie Reeves to 360 and then driving straight. So here we go for qualifying. 5 minutes for 2 laps. And the first one out is going to be Cody Rivera's. He's actually taking it slow. We're going to jump to Chase Gibbons.
Yeah, a lot of cars taking to the track right now. Hunter Collier is another one on track right now, running high through 3 and 4, getting ready to take the green flag. A little bit faster than Cody Rivera's is rolling right now.
So right here, we are watching Chase Gibbons live on screen. Chase Gibbons has crossed the start-finish line, and he is running the high line. So typically here at Daytona and Talladega, your up to speed lap and your first lap are generally going to be up top. What he's doing here is he's trying to use as much track as possible to get as high of a speed as possible, get that thing wound up, and on the front stretch, coming to the start finish line, he should swoop down, get next to that double yellow line, and hold on to that for this next lap. So right here, as he does, that lap is going to be a 49.841.
Yeah, the only people I saw not doing that, Josh, as I scanned through the field real quickly, was Wes Gallo and Wyatt Roberts. Who Wes Gallo goes straight to top of the board right now because of that, provisionally, after this first lap.
And actually, Chase Gibbons is not going to hold the double yellow line on the backstretch. He goes up to the middle. Now, some drivers do believe that is a little bit more speed up there doing that on the backstretch. Personally, I like being down by the double yellow line. And Gibbons actually comes off the line again, going into the dry oval. It's going to be a 49.364. Put Gibbons P1. Wyatt Roberts, the 42 Quaker Steak and Lube machine. Across the line. 49.460 P12 for Wyatt Roberts.
Devin Frank in the 56 jumps to a P4 right now after his second lap.
Brent
Get bumped by, wow!
And Aaron Brown, even faster than Brett Bennett.
Moving too fast. Brett Bennett went to the top and immediately gets bumped to 4th.
Check Tarpley. Come across the line. 49.641. P24 for Tarpley. Andretti Robinson. A 49.426. P16. Brian Lorenzo hasn't even turned 1 lap. And there's
He's gonna
20
run
seconds
out of
left.
time.
Yeah. 49.690, 27th.
Ollie Reeves is completing his 2nd lap right now in the trioval. And he jumps all the way up to 4th right now.
And that does it for qualifying. Aaron Brown on the pole. Luke Mahone, 2nd. So, as these guys are getting on the grid for duel number 1. Let's go ahead and go to our victory lane camera here. And so, Adam, what do we got coming up?
Yeah, busy this week on JCTV despite TNO having to postpone their Monday night races, I should say. Tomorrow night, Friday night, the NAOR Cup Series heads to Circuit of the Americas, Josh, for back-to-back road courses, and then Saturday, Blazer Sim Racing AMSOIL trucks head to Chicagoland for the 7th race of Season 5. That is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be really fun to see. For the first time in the season, Dawson Allen running the ship on production after, Josh, you have plans this weekend, so we're going to miss you being the call, but I think it's going to be fun hearing Dawson, who's been in every race this season, get a reign of his say for a little bit. So still a lot to go this week on JCTV, with 3 races tonight, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun coming up. COTA is pretty fun, and actually I just got word that it's going to be the West version of COTA. I think some of the drivers are surprised about that as well in the DI9 Designs Anywhere series. Chicagoland, I was really looking forward to that one, and not going to be on production for that. The drivers are rolling. And we're getting ready to go racing in Duel 1. So it is Aaron Brown, Trevor Burns, Brett Bennett, Quentin Haley, Brady Floyd, the top 5. And we have our other man in the booth, Jonathan Canfield. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm ready to see this SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series kick off their season here. Got some duels, and then we've got the main event later on tonight. Looks like they're going to go ahead and extend our caution by 1 lap here, so we're going to see these guys pace around for 1 more lap. See a lot of them weaving back and forth, get some heat in the tires. Not really going to be too important here. Maybe some of the guys are just bored hanging around and pacing, but yeah, I'm excited to see what we get for this season. And you know, this next gen package, it drafts so interesting. You know, something I think we haven't seen with this next gen that those who watched the Daytona 500 got to see is the control you have when you're out front in this next gen. We seen, I believe it was Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and I can't remember the third car in that equation, but they stayed out. They had less fuel in the field, but they were out front, and they slowed the field down by over 3 seconds a lap. And to the point where AJ Allmendinger, as a single car, was catching the pack. So it's going to be a big swing here tonight with these cars and how you can control a pack. And big key, too, is staying with the pack. Who tries to play it safe and goes to the back. It's going to be important to see if they keep the draft or if they end up losing the draft. Because once you lose this draft, you kind of just tank from there. So it's going to be interesting. Draft racing with this next gen has been very interesting and very entertaining, and I expect it to be the same here tonight.
Now tonight in the duels, only 15 laps. I don't expect these guys to have to pit at all. Very, very short duels. And then getting into the Daytona 250 later. That is going to be, of course, the main race. So right here, you could have a bad race. And if you're going to have a bad race tonight, you want it to be here in the duel. These guys are anxious, I'm sure, to get the season underway. Start here at Daytona. Space car is bringing the field through 3 and 4 for the final time before Barney the Flagman turns these guys loose.
Yeah, Josh, just another note before we go green here. I believe it was announced as I got in the session before I muted my driver chat. We did not meet the number of drivers to where anybody would be considered on the outside looking in. So it looks like every driver who is going to make a lap here tonight will lock themselves into the Daytona 250 as our pace car is about to make that hard left turn onto the pit road.
And there it goes into pit road. Aaron Brown leading us to the green. It's waving. Here we go. Duel number 1.
See a very even start from both lanes. Looks like the top 3 cars on the top lane are going to be a little bit closer and more organized. But you see that bottom lane right now is just going to prevail as the 20 is going to get to the 47 of Brett Bennett and give him a little shot to get to the back of Aaron Brown.
The outside line really is not organized. Is now up front. Floyd and Gallo actually, or Webster rather, they had gone to the outside. Aaron Brown with the block. Floyd on the bottom now. And everybody really just all over the place.
And I gotta say, those who showed up to the Clash for this series, I remember watching it on JCTV. Brett Bennett is a driver I'd say you kind of want to be around. He showed it very quickly that he could be a driver that can push and also lead a pack. So you see a lot of these guys, Brett just hanging out right there, but you see a lot of these guys dipping to the bottom. And I think that's just them trying to get that good push that Brett does get with these cars. Granted, it was 2 different Daytonas right now. We're talking about the old Daytona that was bumpy and the high lane was mainly the dominant lane. And then we've got tonight's version of Daytona, which is the newer version, the more flat version. It doesn't have as much character, but...
Oh, we got a wreck! Trevor Burns!
Oh, yeah.
In a wall.
Caution.
Brian Lorenzo. Quentin Haley as well. Take a look, see what happened. Oh, looks like Haley just got into Lorenzo. Maybe. That's what started it. riding on board with Haley.
Yeah, for a second I thought it was going to be a reaction out of Lorenzo because Michael Walls makes a pretty aggressive move to get down in front of him before the accident happens, but it does look like Haley just kind of puts himself in the middle, follows Michael Walls through there, but I think he might have had just a little bit of netcode contact with Traber Burns here, and that pushes the car down towards Lorenzo. I'm gonna say it's either netcode or he just sometimes as a driver you get caught staring the bumper that you were following, and he was following Michael Walls, and almost the same time Michael Walls moved down in front of Lorenzo, Haley makes that move into Lorenzo's right rear, right side door. A couple of drivers got to get some repairs early here.
Let's see. Let's see if we can dial up one of our in-race reporters. And Cody Webster, let's boys up the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, Cody. Currently in 4th place. Obviously, it's early. We had a caution pretty quickly, but how's it feeling out there so far? And what are you looking to learn tonight in this race to take into the Daytona 250 here in a few?
Well, I usually never run Chevys at super speedways, so I'm kind of actually learning my limits of pushing. Usually I run the Fords, which are a lot easier to push. So that will probably be my biggest learning curve right now in this race to see what I can apply for the bigger race. But that's really it. Also, steering is kind of a little wonky out here. I don't know. It just feels like, no, I don't know. I don't like it at all, especially when you take bumps. So just feeling out the car and just getting it ready for the bigger race.
All right. Well, in this race, of course, you know, it's just qualifying race for the Daytona 250. Do you still want to finish up front in this race tonight, or I mean, obviously, I'm sure you want to win, but what is kind of ideal here for you?
I mean, obviously you want to win, but, you know, if I can't win or can't finish maybe the, you know, top, I guess it would be top few starting roads for the big race, I'd rather just start in the back. It's going to be a long race, so I'd rather keep myself clean and avoid all the mess that will happen in the big race. So it's either I start up front the first couple of rows, or I'll definitely put it out back.
All right. Well, good luck to you the rest of the way in the duel, and we'll be talking to you a little bit later.
That sounds good.
And that was Cody Webster, driver the number 77.
It's funny, you hear him talk about the steering and how it's affected by the bumps, and something that came new with this next-gen car was they got rid of what we used to have is just a steering box inside the cars in the old generation. Now we've got rack and pinion steering, so he's not the first driver I've heard talk about how the steering is kind of, if you get no feeling out of it when you're going through the corners and when you're taking bumps and stuff like that. I mean, me personally, obviously I've stepped away from commentating for a little while. I'm more involved in driver status for some of these leagues. I mean, I drive this very same car. I'll be in it tomorrow night with the DAYTONA NAOR series. It's a fine tuning you gotta find with the rack and pinion. Every wheel is different for sim racing that you use. It's gonna act a little different. But with what I use, I won't even lie. I turn my steering rate, what would be a steering ratio, but for rack and pinion, I turn it all the way up, and we see what it's got is the pace car is going to pull in. We're going to get ready to go green again with Brandon Fiedler and Aaron Brown on the front row. Brandon Fiedler hits that loud pedal. He's got a bit of a jump. Looks like the outside line is going to get stacked up here.
Bottom line stacked up quite a bit too, towards the back. Wyatt Roberts.
You see the 20 of Brady Floyd actually gives a shot to Brandon Fiedler as they get into the corner there. See him fanning out in the background. Looks like a little bit of 3 wide. They work it out to 2 wide. I believe that was Lorenzo. Just in the middle of 3 wide there again. Now we see that outside lane starting to gain momentum again, and that's something we're kind of commonly seeing with these Dex Gens at a super speedway track. The outside lane, it just seems like you can carry a lot more momentum, and they're still stacking up. Looks like Luke Peters gets a little bit of a shot there and gets a little wiggly.
Oh, bump there up at the front from Floyd to Fiedler. That puts Fiedler in the outside line.
Yeah, Fiedler hesitated a little bit. He looked like he was going to go to the outside with the help of Floyd, and then he looked like he almost tried to pull it back low, but by then Floyd was already to his rear bumper, and it just pushed him up into the top lane. Now you see the bottom lane starting to deform again. Not sure what's going on with Floyd. Don't know why they're not pulling up here. Looks like Michael Wall's going to try to make a move to the bottom, though. Get some side draft.
Michael Wall's trying. He's got help from Quentin Haley. And Fiedler goes down to the bottom. Aaron Brown stays high. Fiedler going to drop a bunch of positions here. So everybody is migrating to the top.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that move by Brandon Fiedler. As you see, the 99 going to get a huge run to his rear bumper. Oh, you see Michael Wall's making a move up here.
So the guys pulling down. Maffitt and Floyd.
Floyd followed Maffitt, but Maffitt didn't really pull to the bottom. It was more so he left room up top, and Michael Walls just took advantage, stuck it to his outside and forced him to the low line, but now that's going to work out for him as he's going to get to the front here.
And they're going to get in front of...
We're going to wad up at least 5 cars right there. I think I counted maybe 6.
It's still green. Caution.
Aaron Brown was involved in that one. I think Quentin Haley also got a piece of that. Brady Floyd. Moffitt got spun around on that one.
Take a look at the JCTV replays. You see those guys go up to the top, and I think it was to the point where no lift. And that's what led to the accident.
Oh my goodness, and Aaron Brown went for a wild ride. All 4 tires off the ground through the grass. But after that accident, Cody Webster able to sneak through. He's going to take over our race lead right now as we're pacing under caution here. He's going to be followed by Luke Peters, Brett Bennett. And then that goes back to the 4th place. Michael Walls and Jordan Kuntz. Listed as a 27 in sim, but I'm seeing 99 on the doors. Looks like Walls. Oh, he's going to fake it out. Wyatt Roberts stays out. Brian Lorenzo. And I think the rest of the cars coming down pit road were involved in that accident. Fiedler. Like McDonald. Aaron Brown. Moffitt. Haley and Floyd all going to come down, take some service and some repairs.
So one thing that I thought was pretty interesting when we were just chatting with Webster momentarily, talked about running the Chevy and not really doing so at plate races. Me, myself, I am a very avid Chevy guy. I joke around, say I'm a walking, talking Chevy billboard. I love Chevrolets. I drive the Chevys in sim all the time. There was actually a time when I did not run the Chevys at these plate races just because of the nose, and so I chose to run Toyota. They were much better at pushing than the Chevys were, just because the nose was not pointed like the Camaros, and I believe that it actually really worked. I don't really do that anymore, actually. I haven't not raced a Toyota at a plate race in a long time. But, you know, I think overall, really, it doesn't matter too much. The noses on the Chevys, they are still pointed, but they are a lot better than they used to be. So I really personally don't think that it makes a difference anymore. But that was an interesting point that he brought up.
It was an interesting point, and I think it's something we've seen this year with the change they did with the Mustang and the Toyota. It actually made the field itself a lot more balanced in terms of how the cars line up on super speedways. It was something they definitely focused on with NASCAR in the offseason, and I think it translates to iRacing too. The new look of the Ford and the Toyota just balances how the bodies line up, and I think it was all in an effort for real life racing to mitigate the risk of a bad push in a scenario like Daytona and Talladega and even Atlanta, which we go to this week for NASCAR real life. Just trying to avoid those bad pushes, make the cars a little more square, like they kind of used to be quite a few years ago, how it was just even, and you could pair a Chevy with a Ford or a Ford with a Toyota, or however you wanted to pair it. They could work with whoever they wanted to and just go race without having to worry about it if that car being a different manufacturer is gonna give them a bad push and end up causing the big one or even just wrecking them out of the race.
Now, also looking at a, we've got Chevy Camaros, the Ford Mustang Dark Horses, and the Toyota Camrys. I'm also looking at a Ford Dodge Challenger, which currently sits third. No, that's not a Dodge Challenger. It's a wannabe Dodge on a Ford body that Brett Bennett is running.
You know, Josh, with all the rumors we've heard about different manufacturers wanting to dip in NASCAR, I'm surprised we haven't seen someone try to put a Honda body on these yet. But Pace Car's going to pull to pit road. Field in the hands of Cody Webster. Luke Peters to his outside. Webster gets the jump. Bennett going to kind of lay back a little bit and leave a gap. Webster going to jump up in front of Peters, though.
Outside line with a huge push. Right now, I think it's where you want to be. This is going to be a natural green-white checkered. 2 laps to go. That bottom line just not formed at all.
Well, you talk about it being a natural green-white checkered. We've got one of the more, I would say, aggressive guys when it comes to any kind of racing in general. When it comes to being on JCTV, in third right now, as you see, Lorenzo going to pull down. He's got help. Looks like Shockey Tarpley, and I believe that might be. Who is that? Was that Amir Bascom? I think I seen.
The white flag is out.
And out 3 wide.
They are 3 wide in the background. Oh, what a shot by Brady Floyd to Michael Walls, who then pulls down to the bottom. What's Walls going to do? Is he going to move back up in front of Floyd? He does. Michael Walls with a run. Webster goes up to block. What is
going through the grass?
Walls gets to the outside of Webster. Huge push to the Webster.
Each other. They're going to wreck behind. Walls has no help.
Webster in the tri-oval. Floyd pulls out. Webster goes to block. Webster doors him. Cody Webster is going to win the first duel.
And something I noticed which makes me very excited for tonight, Josh. We've already had someone get put in the wall for a win. And that was just a duel race. Imagine what happens at the end of 250 miles.
Oh, it's going to be pretty interesting. Cody Webster wins. This is Wyatt Roberts, Brady Floyd, Aaron Brown, Michael Walls, Brian Lorenzo, Luke Peters, Shockey Tarpley. Still learning everybody's first names, but Maffitt 9th, Brett Bennett 10th, Mir Bascom 11th, Kuntz 12th, McDonald 13th, Fiedler 14th, Haley 15th, and Trevor Burns. He was out of the race, finishing 16th.
As duel number 2 gets on the track, they're going to be led off by Luke Mahone. He's going to be on the pole for this one, followed by Ollie Reeves, going to be at his outside. Starting third in this duel is going to be Chase Gibbons. To his outside is going to be Matthew Miles. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be Devin Frank, with Hunter Collier to his outside in the 6th position. 7th position going to go to, I apologize in advance if I mess up this last name, that's Joseph Kozvara. We're going to say it like that unless we talk to him and he corrects us. To his outside is going to be Ben McDonald in the 8th position. 9th is going to be Andretti Robinson. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Sean Cassane.
We got Walker, Sawinski, George, Riveras, and Heater rounding out the top 15 drivers, of course, in this duel. We are getting ready for duel number 2.
And just like last duel, they are going to extend the pace lap by 1 lap, so we will get these drivers to go around one more time.
And with that being said, let's go ahead and quickly talk to our race winner from duel number 1, Cody Webster. Well, I guess the answer to the question is extremely upfront. I would ask you, how satisfied are you with your finishing position to ultimately your starting position for the Daytona 250? But I think you're pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. I believe I get to start behind my teammate, who's going to be starting on the front row. So it's satisfying. Don't know if I'm going to stay up there long. Obviously, I'm going to see how it feels to be up front and how the aggressive the pushes are. But I mean, I did say either I finish up front or I just lag the back and finish in the back. So I guess, well, I decided to finish up front.
Well, it's a pretty good finish. What was it like out there? Just how aggressive were the drivers around you, and what do you think it's going to be like tonight?
You know, when you get lined up, you can actually pull away with 2 guys for like a short amount of period. It seems like maybe a lap. and then like unfortunately you gotta like unlock because of overheating. So I do feel like there's gonna be a lot of aggressive pushing and then a lot of run just because of the lines having to check up for breathing, letting the nose breathe and stuff like that. So I do feel like it's to be aggressive with the move because of just how much of a run you get with everybody just having to get their nose clean with air and everything. So honestly, that was aggressive, and it was half the field. So I figure it's going to be worse, and we weren't even going really 3 wide that much. So there might be some more carnage, I'd say.
All right, well, we're going to let you celebrate this race win before getting ready for the Daytona 250. And so good luck tonight, and of course we will talk to you a little bit later.
Thank you, guys.
Cody Webster, winner of duel number 1.
Real quick, Josh, before we go green, I have a bit of a correction to make. I said Ben McDonald would be starting P8 this duel. He actually finished P13 in the first duel. Starting P8 in this duel is actually the 07 of Wes Gallo.
Wes Gallo is our other in-race reporter. So the field is getting ready to start duel number 2. Luke Mahone. He's on a loud pedal. Green flag is out.
Much like the last duel, very tame start, but you see that outside lane already getting formed up. The inside lane not getting formed near as well.
We always hear when you've got dual races like this, one is tame, one is calm. Or, one is tame, one is calm. There it is. One is tame, the other is wild. I have to say that first one was pretty wild. I don't know if this one is going to be very tame. Solly Reeves will lead the first lap. Matthew Miles right behind him. They're staying to the high side, and honestly, I like this idea. The high side gets a lot of momentum when they're working well together. There is, in my opinion, no point in pulling down.
You're absolutely right on that, Josh, but what we're seeing right now, the bottom lane actually getting formed up better than the top lane, and we talk about how the drafting has kind of changed a little bit. As I say, the bottom lane getting formed up, they almost crash on the bottom there. Just a not lined up push there coming to the 3 car. But what's important, I mentioned how the draft has changed. We used to be able to just rely on the second car to push. Everyone else could just kind of tow off of the second car. Now we're in a car where, yes, the second car can still do their job and push, but that second car in line needs the third car in line to be close, if not pushing them to the rear bumper of whoever is leading that line. So relatively, you need about 3-4 cars stacked bumper to bumper to really get the momentum going to swing your line in advantage. And momentarily, we did see that out of the bottom lane. It looks like they're starting to form it back up a little bit and make a charge here with some guys pulling down. Ollie Reeves doing a great job, though, just managing each line. We've seen him move from top to bottom, back up to the top now. So he's doing a great job just managing, and it's really going to be on the rest of these guys here to figure out which lane's going to be dominant and if they need to move a lane or if they can move and lead their own line to the front.
I've never been a fan of drivers, including myself, doing this lane game in iRacing, and the reason is because, this isn't real life where drivers are a little bit more protective of their bodies. I've been driven through quite a bit. I think it takes a lot of trust, and Ollie Reeves might have trusted everybody there to be able to do that, but just a huge shakeup. The lineup is Wes Gallo now leading this race. Collier's second. Collier actually going to pull down to the bottom.
Now Wes Gallo made the move to the bottom there with help from Sean Castain. Sean Castain kind of gets left there as Wes Gallo moves back to the top. And they're going to wreck in the background, the 45. It's going to be Andretti Robinson. I've seen him. Not sure who else was involved in that one. It's like the 28. Brad Sawinski. The 3 of Chase Gibbons.
There were 3 wide. Yeah, Gibbons got into Sawinski.
Corner.
Andretti Robinson went around.
And the 56. Ooh, the 56 really got pinched into that outside wall. It's going to be heavy damage to the front for Devin Frank. Chase Gibbons looks like he almost has terminal damage on his right side.
What a great job by Declan George. Getting that car woed up. It's right on board with George.
And these next-gen cars, especially on a super speedway, not easy to get woed up, especially if you're in a high gear and you're just trying to stop the car. It doesn't seem to want to stop very well. And you're not normally running a brake bias that's going to stop very well with these cars. Just because you're on a super speedway, you don't need all that braking power that you would normally use on a short track or a road course. But to get it woed up like he did a great job. Just not panicking, not overdoing the brakes, but also not arca braking into somebody. So, very fine line, and it's hard to find here at a super speedway especially.
So we're going to go ahead and talk to our other in-race reporter here momentarily, who is the race leader, actually, Wes Gallo. Hey, Wes, it's the boys up at the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, but not as good as you leading this race right now. So, controlling this race, 9 laps to go. How's it been out there so far in just a short amount of time?
So far, so good. These kind of like half exhibition races are kind of fun because you can kind of just throw it out there. You don't feel like you got to try to save the car. So, kind of take some chances with the car where you think it might be able to go, and it seems to work out for me, at least so far.
Well, I asked Webster the same thing. Obviously, you want to win, but if you can't win this race, and obviously it depends on, or it's going to affect your starting position for the Daytona 250, is there anything in your mind as far as where you want to line up for the Daytona 250?
I don't care. I could start the 250 and last. That'd be fine. I'd just kind of get comfortable in the pack, get comfortable in the car, and if not, I'll walk back to the metaphorical hauler with my steering wheel in hand.
All right. Is there anything that you're just looking forward to learning here in the duel for the Daytona 250?
Nah, just trying to get a little bit of the rust off. Ever since last season ended, I have not done nearly as much racing, so just kind of get the eyes adjusted to the speed of everything again, and just get ready for the season. This is the one style of racing that I know I can actually win at, and let's try to do what I can with it.
All right. We'll let you get back down there, and good luck to you the rest of this race, and we'll definitely be talking to you a little bit later.
Alrighty, I'll be here whenever you need me.
All right.
Thank you.
Wes Gallo driving the 07 Toyota. Currently leading the race. Going to go green with 7 laps remaining. And still on pit road is Chase Gibbons. And I'm wondering if he's just going to sit there rest of the race. Collect his breath, get ready for the Daytona 250.
after that wreck that he was just involved in, driver of the 3 never even got it pulled off the wall until it was pretty much time to make the hard left on the pit road, and it looked like he had to pull the wheel really hard left to get it down there. So I imagine he's got terminal damage to the right side of his car, possibly just sitting there getting as many repairs as he can, and maybe get back out here to do a couple laps of drafting before the 250 here tonight.
Yeah, we just kind of was looking at the front end of Chase Gibbons' Toyota, and there we go, another shot. Let me tell you, that Toyota, it's not going places. Yeah, I know, that was a dad joke for anybody that actually caught that.
I was going to say, I hope somebody caught that.
I hope somebody
His
did
car
too.
pulls in. Wes Gallo gets the field. Luke Mahone to his outside. Ollie Reeves and Hunter Colley are going to be the pushers. Oh, they're
What?
pouring each other on the restart. Wes Gallo going to go into the grass.
What?
He saves it. We stay green. Luke Mahone, I guess, Christmas in February?
Okay. We're going to take a look at that replay here in a bit.
You know, Josh, all I can say is it reminds me of when Pacheco and Parker lined up on the front row. I believe that was maybe Nashville Super Speedway 2 seasons ago in Slot Job. Drivers trying to side draft each other.
Kassane pulls down to the bottom. Reeves is going to push Kassane. Collier all over Mahone. Kassane trying to side draft.
Yeah, Kassane's just got no help right now. Ollie Reeves, I'm not sure what was going on with him. It looked like the 30 of Miles was... And it's going to sound weird to say, but actually inside of Ollie Reeves' rear bumper. And just when that happens, you assume somebody had a blink, and when a car blinks, iRacing doesn't register it as a draft, so they were no help. Everyone moving to the outside. Looks like a lap car there. Not sure who it was.
5 laps to go, though. Luke Mahone still leading this race. Rivera's up to P2. And Collier getting a push from Walker. Reeves moves down to the bottom.
I'm corrected. That wasn't a lap car. That was Eric Heater that was slow on the bottom. I think he might have just pulled out of line trying to lead the bottom lane. He's the reason they got all stacked up. Ollie Reeves now making a move back to the front, though.
4 to go. Ollie Reeves trying to get a push from Matthew Miles. Miles pulls back up in the line on that high line right now. The high line is where you want to be, and it's kind of crazy because we're just watching these lines. Top, bottom, back to the top.
And Reeves is going to get put in the sucker hole by Mahone.
Kassane pulls down as well as Heater. Collier still getting a push from Walker. The bottom line, though, they are coming quick. Eric Heater actually going to lead that lap after a huge push by Sean Kassane.
Sean Kassane doing a good job. He is all over the rear bumper of Eric Heater. Eric Heater doing a great job just holding on to it. Oh, an aggressive push there. Eric Heater is going to end up on the top line now.
Let's see if Mahone... Oh! Collier, he really wants to control this race. He pulls down in front of Kassane.
And that was very close to wadding up the field right there. Collier just barely clear. Seems like every time Sean Kassane gets towards the front, somebody pulls down in front of his front bumper. He's got to be thinking, what do I got to do to get to the front?
2 to go. Heater was kind of looking, but the bottom line is not there for Heater to make a move comfortably.
Luke Mahone now the only car pushing Sean Kassane. Ollie Reeves going to pull down. Luke Mahone decides to go up.
Heater
going to pull down.
Barney Flagman gonna wave the white flag. 1 lap to go in duel number 2. Hunter Collier still in control of this race. No movement. Well, I say that. Walker pulls down to the bottom. Miles goes with him. Cansavera, 3 wide on the bottom. Walker is leading this race. Sarah coming out of turn 4. It's a little bit of contact. Luke Mahone all the way down on the apron.
Get to the wall. Eric Heater has a run, but nobody's going to get to Walker. Walker's going to take this duel.
It's going to be Walker, Mahone, Kassane, Heater, Reeves, Collier, Casavara, Frank, Rivera, George, Miles, Robinson, Sawinski, Gallo, and Gibbons. So, we are going to talk to our duel number 2 winner. And Canfield, we'll let you go ahead and interview him.
Alright, we've got our duel number 2 race winner, Blake Walker, up here in the victory lane celebration of Daytona. Blake, you get that duel win right there. You get ready to go into the 250 tonight. Where's your strategy at now? You've felt out the cars. You've definitely shown that you've got the speed to get to the front. And do you feel like you showed your hand there, or you got a couple more tricks up your sleeve here for the 250 tonight?
I mean, maybe. I was joking with Hunter. I didn't want to pass him there coming off 2. He kind of got tight off 2, kind of came up to the wall, so I was like, well, I'll go now. I didn't want to turn him for it, but yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason why you need to come off the top. I mean, I'm just going to ride around. The top is the place to be if you want to get runs, and if I get up front, just train the top, but you gotta be patient. I mean, the first 7 laps, I wasn't going anywhere, and you just gotta kind of wait for the wreck, because you know it's gonna happen, but starting up front, that's big. I wanted to get track position, so I'm glad we were able to get the duel.
Alright, well, like we talked about, you get the duel here tonight. You're gonna start up front. Starting up front gonna be something that you're gonna take advantage of, or you think you're gonna just go back to the back and ride now that you had your fun in the duel?
I think I'll ride, or I'll stay up front. I'd rather be up front. I mean, most of the wrecks happen around 6th through 10th, but I want to be up front. The one thing is, I don't want to lead, if that makes sense. Like, we're trying to save fuel, and in the next gen cars like this, you can save a lot of fuel just kind of sitting back half throttle. So I really don't want to lead, but I'll gladly sit 2nd and 3rd in line. So not going to make any big moves here to start the race. Got to be smart. 100 laps. So fun duel.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing how you mix it up in the 250, and we'll let you go get ready to go to work on that 250.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good call.
So that does it for duel number 2. And let's go take a look at our Season 2 schedule. So you see you got the Daytona 250 tonight, into Auto Club next week. Gateway, COTA, Richmond. Going to be the first 5 races. And then Kansas, Charlotte Roval, Talladega, Chicagoland, Bristol, New Hampshire, Pocono, Watkins Glen, Texas, and Nashville. And what seems like a really fun schedule. So we're currently awaiting the next session to open. So, with that being said, we're going to step away. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back for the Daytona 250. It'll be right here on this stream. Not going to end this stream. And we are back live here from Daytona, where the duels are finished, and now we are getting ready to do the Daytona 250. 15 seconds left in practice. Canfield, I'm going to ask you, who's your pick to win?
Oh, Josh, it's really a hard one to answer because it's Daytona, man. But there's somebody I've seen who, I don't know how he does it. Sneaks up there, survives these long races. It could be a road course, it could be Daytona, it could be any given track. He's always surprised me. I gotta go with Cody Rivera's on this one. I don't know how, I don't know where he's gonna do it from, but he's just somehow gonna do it.
I like that pick, but I'm gonna go with Michael Walls. That man is aggressive. He was aggressive in the duel. He's also driving the 24. I think he's gonna get it done.
Also, side note, if Brett Bennett doesn't get in his own way, I think he has a chance in this one.
Yeah,
We'll see though.
I was actually gonna pick Brett, and then I was like, nope, not doing it. He's not gonna win anyway, so I'm gonna go.
He is cursed to win on a JCTV race. Let's just say that. We should note that he has a win in a league that I believe is broadcasted. It might not have been.
Nope, not even broadcasted.
Dang. But we at least know he has a win. He just is cursed to get one when we're live, though.
It wasn't broadcasted. Doesn't count. There's no proof of it. So, we're going to watch these guys pull off pit road. We're going to go ahead and talk to one of our in-race reporters just before we go green. These guys are rolling off pit road, getting ready for 250 miles, 100 laps around the 2.5 mile super speedway. We've got Wes Gallo. And Wes, boys up at the booth, got a copy?
Sure do. How goes it?
Going good. Looking forward to this one. Now your starting position, it's towards the back. You said you really don't care where you start, but what are you going to look to try to get that machine up front?
We're gonna have to just play it smart. If these guys are gonna race like idiots, we're gonna have to just kind of kick it in the back and wait for the darts without a feather to clear themselves out, and then we'll work our way to the front. If not, if it's gonna be clean, I'll just work my way through the field, read the lines, and we'll see where we end up.
Do you and your teammates have any kind of strategy, trying to work together, getting together as quickly as possible?
Oh, me and Brandon, he's my only full teammate for this race. We've been doing super speedway racing together for 4 or 5 years now, so it's kind of one of the things we kind of got the unspoken stuff. We'll work together when we need to, when we don't need to, and one of us will hopefully end up being the winner. But I don't know, we don't really have a plan. We kind of just figure it out as we go.
All right. Well, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.
I appreciate it. Hopefully we keep talking under positive things.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That was 07, Wes Gallo. And notes for tonight. Stage points are going to be awarded on lap 40. We are not going to have a caution for the stage, though. Our picks to win, of course. Canfield chose Cody Rivera's, and I took Michael Walls. Aaron Brown, Luke Mahone make up the front row. And then it is in row 2, our dual winners, Webster and Walker. And then the rest of the lineup and how they finished in the duels. 31 drivers tonight. And we are getting ready for the first race of the season that is going to award points. First regular season race.
Yeah, Josh, no better place to start it than Daytona. We see leagues sometimes try to switch it up, get away from Daytona, but there's really no place that anybody wants to start other than Daytona most times. But I often find myself asking myself, if I'm there, in this case lap 98, and I have a shot to win, am I just trying to finish, or am I coming home with a steering wheel or a checkered flag? Oftentimes, I'm taking the latter as green flag's out.
Green flag is out. We are underway here at Daytona. The Daytona 250. Aaron Brown. He had the pole, but it is that outside line. Luke Mahone getting a push from Walker. Now Aaron Brown getting a little help from his teammate Cody Webster. Wyatt Roberts going to help push. A lot of guys kind of migrating down to the bottom right now.
Bottom lane appears to be where people want to go right now, which is interesting because it's, if I remember correctly, our Duel 2 race winner, which was Blake Walker, said outside's the way to go. Gained so much momentum right now. He's actually the third car, or the fourth car now, as some guys pulled up in line on that outside lane. Now you see him and Mahone gonna pull it to the bottom and try to make some ground up.
I do agree. Bottom is where you want to be at. Or, I'm sorry, top is where you want to be at. But right now, with everybody kind of going down to the bottom, it makes sense, if you are Walker, to go down there. You're losing too much time up top. Get down here and just ride for a bit. These next-gen cars, they are very, very realistic in terms of, you know, the draft at the super speedways. And you see in real life, you know, them drivers running the high line. You can make that high line work so well. And it's starting to become something that we see a little bit more and more in iRacing, as Floyd has jumped up to the high side in front of Kassane. And that outside line making some headway. As now it's going to be Webster move to the high line.
Webster is going to get to that high line, and we're starting to see the numbers kind of even out a little bit. Looks like some guys from the back that, you know, if you're in the back, you're not going to get to the front unless you move your line. Well, you see some guys from the back of this inside line starting to move up to the top. Now you're getting some even numbers, top and bottom. Get to see which line's going to push better.
Webster goes down to the apron. He's backing off.
It's like it's going to be him and Mahone dropping to the back. I thought Tarpley was going to drop with him, but he pulled back into line.
Now you see that outside line just edging ahead. The first three cars clear: Floyd, Kassane, and Walls. Aaron Brown is leading that inside line still in the number 7. Wyatt Roberts second on the bottom. Bottom line getting a little bit of momentum here.
Bottom line is getting the momentum, and they're starting to pull even. But as we talked about strength in numbers, there's a significant higher number of cars on the bottom right now. But you see just that advantage of the top. the top line does not need as many cars as the bottom lane does to be able to just pull out in front. You see right now, top 2 cars are clear. As we go through the corner, because the bottom line is a shorter line, Aaron Brown is going to pull almost even with that second place car, but coming off exit with the side draft and the way everything works, he drops back just ever so slightly more, and now almost 3 cars clear again, maybe even 4 cars by the time we get to the corner.
You mentioned about side drafting. There is not a ton of side drafting going on right now. These guys are not leaning on each other much, not getting side by side very close to the quarter panels. A little bit on the front straightaway, but for the most part, these guys are, I have to say, being calm right now. And, this may not look calm, but trust me, this is calm right now.
As you said that, I was watching the 4 of Sean Kasane. I'm not sure if he just spaced out for a moment or if the wind just pushed the car up there, but it almost looked like the 4 almost drove straight into turns 1 and 2 there, and he almost caught that wall, able to pull the car back down off the wall and get back in line, but almost a big moment for that 4 car there, as he's the second car in our outside line. And right now, Brown was almost clear. It looked like he was hesitating, maybe thinking about getting up. Outside line going to pull back out in front of the inside line now.
Brady Floyd. He is clear of Aaron Brown. Kasane pushing Floyd.
I know right now we're green and clean, but something I thought was interesting that we don't talk about too much with draft tracks that our Duel 2 race winner actually brought up. Is the guys leading each line, so Aaron Brown and Brady Floyd, unless they're up there half throttle, even 75% throttle, and just kind of managing the pack, they're burning the most fuel out of anybody in this pack right now. Even the second place car is saving a lot more fuel than what the 2 leaders are. And you see right there on the bottom lane, the third car in line is our Duel 2 race winner of Blake Walker, who said that's where he kind of wants to be, 3rd or 4th in line. And we don't have the exact telemetry, but you can almost guess just based on where he's positioning his car. He's only running about maybe half throttle to 75% throttle the entire lap right now. Just saving a ton of fuel with how this car drafts.
Yeah, I still think, though, we talk about fuel saving all the time at plate races, but for the most part, everybody in the pack does usually pit together. And the one thing for other guys, though, if you are saving fuel, it is less time that you have to spend on pit road, because you've already got the fuel there. So it will be interesting to see when we do get to pit stops how that's going to shake out.
It's especially important here at a plate track where, you get in your box clean. You don't lock up your tires too much getting on pit road or even getting into your box. You're not going to be taking tires. And, it's something you don't really see much, but in real life, we see it all the time where a driver will make that mistake. He'll flat spot his tires and end up having to change them at a super speedway, but I guess iRacing's equivalent to a flat spot would be overheating the tires. So when you lock up getting on the pit road and even into your box, you actually put more heat into your tires, and it makes it harder for handling, especially when you're in this pack. We talk about the draft and how it affects these cars, and to break it down simply, it's a lot of wind and aero being affected. It's how the wind pushes the car onto the car in front or behind you that really keeps you going. And the explanation I've always used when you're that third, fourth car in line, you see these guys how they kind of bob back and forth, and for those who don't know, you're probably thinking, well, why can't they just hold it straight? If you've ever been behind a semi-truck doing 70 to 80 miles an hour on the highway and you feel your steering wheel going all over the place, you feel like you're getting thrown all over the road, that's what a lot of these drivers are feeling right now at almost 200 miles an hour. Outside line yet again, getting the momentum. Brady Floyd leading that outside lane. Sean Cassane still glued to his back bumper pushing. Michael Wall's been relatively calm here, riding third in the outside lane.
So I'm trying to figure out here, as all this is going on, I do not know if the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series runs a full fuel tank or if they run a reduced fuel tank. I know at the Clash they were running a reduced 70% fuel tank. If it is a 100% fuel tank, they can go, I'd say, 37 to 42 laps, and I think that's going to be pushing it a little bit on the 42 lap. And either way, I think it's going to be a two-stop race doing that. If it is going to be the 70%, we're looking at about 28 laps. And I am getting word it is 70%, so about 28 laps. I'm going to say about 26 to 30 is when we should expect these guys to pit.
Yeah, around lap 25, I'd say, would be probably when your leaders are thinking about where they need to pit, because, again, these guys are just burning more fuel the longer they're out front, and we haven't seen really any lead changes from either line, so we actually see some pushing and shoving starting to happen. Both Floyd and Brown each getting shots from their second car in line of Cassane and Roberts. Kind of shaking up the lines a little bit, changing the momentum.
So Floyd's still leading the outside line. Brown's still leading the inside line. And we have completed 15 laps. As now Cassane actually moves down to the bottom in front of Brown.
And you know what's interesting about that, Josh? I don't think that's a move for him to take the race lead. I think that's just a move for him knowing exactly what we just talked about. I mean, pit stops are coming. We're knocking off laps at an alarming rate right now. Around 46 seconds a lap. So everybody really at full speed, nobody trying to manage. We're not seeing any games like we've seen in real life Sunday with... Oh, and that's a hard side draft there from Floyd coming off the corner. Wow. Was not expecting that this early. But, I mean, we're knocking off laps really, really quickly here, and we're entering our pit window soon. As you see another driver going to pull down there. That's going to be Collier.
Hunter Collier on that last.
Wall's going to go down, and he touches the apron there in the trial. Well, that could have been a big moment there.
So I am hearing reports that some drivers not very happy being on the outside line right now. Trying to get down to the bottom quickly. It appears that Floyd might be holding up some drivers just a little bit. So right now, a lot of drivers pulling down to the bottom. So far, unsuccessful at trying to get the lead with that bottom line.
We talked about it earlier. It's difficult to get up there and get past this top lane. You know, we've had reports from guys saying that the outside's the way to go. The other thing you can do when you're the driver on the outside that we already seen Floyd do is pull down on that bottom lane and side draft them, and then that checks up the entire inside lane. That air affects the inside lane so horribly. You can almost use it as a pick. As you see Floyd right there, he's going to pull down and he's just going to give a little side draft to Michael Walls. That's going to give him just enough momentum to pull back even with the 81 of Moffitt.
Walls is all over Moffitt though. Floyd still leading the race. Michael Walls gonna try to give a huge shot to Moffitt. That outside line though, huge surge with Ollie Reeves giving a huge push to Floyd.
Well, and the other guy's doing a great job. We talked to him before we started this race. Look who snuck his way up there to the fourth car on the outside line. That's going to be Wes Gallo, and look who's directly in front of him. His teammate, Brandon Fiedler. They said they work well together, and they've been drafting at tracks like this for a long time. So, like I talked about earlier, it's the job of the guys that are third and fourth in line to be able to keep that car, that second in line, up there. Now you see a big surge from the bottom lane. Is Moffitt going to pull to the high side, and Collier going to follow. It's going to leave Micah pretty much to the wolves right now, as Kassane's going to pick him up and give him a big shot there on the bottom.
Floyd thought about moving down to the bottom, it looked like, but didn't see the momentum from the bottom coming, so stayed up high.
Oh, Floyd's going to be in the wall.
Made contact with Reeves.
Gets into the back of him. That's going to check up that outside lane. We'll see if anybody else wants to hop up and follow the two that are going to be strung out, or if they're going to pull to the bottom. They pull to the bottom. Floyd still leading that outside line. Have to see if he's gotten any damage from that wall. How that affects him being able to lead a line.
Moffitt moving to the high side. Collier stays low.
Oh, big shot to Moffitt.
I think Moffitt hit the wall a little bit.
He grabbed a little bit of wall. It was off the shot that he got from Brady Floyd.
Michael Walls looking to make a move.
Mix it up. Michael Walls going to make an aggressive move. You know, and I talked about Wes Gallo and Brandon Fiedler. They made their way to the front. Now they get up here and it's starting to go crazy.
Kassane.
See them back out.
Kassane pulls down to the bottom and in front of Walls. Put Kassane in the lead.
So Sean Kassane's going to take the lead now. And as I predicted, I see the 39 and the 07. They're backing out right now. They are dropping to the back of that outside lane. Trying to get as far away from the mix-up as they can. They got to the front. And as Wes told us earlier, he said he was going to see about just slowly making it to the front and not being involved in too much drama. Well, the drama started as soon as he got there, and you see now him dropping towards the back. And you see that outside line starting to thin out. Josh, I think we're getting ready to have pit stops here soon.
Yeah, this is about where at least my math predicted us to be at. I can't guarantee it's correct, but this is right about what I thought.
Right now I'm only counting about 4 or 5 cars still in that outside lane.
Trevor Burns down pit road.
Burns going to be the first one to peel off. See who gets help here. Burns down there all by himself. That's gonna be hard for him to make up.
And I believe he overshot his pit box too. I see him rolling off pit road.
I didn't see him taking any tires, but I do assume he sat there for quite a while, so he did fill it up with fuel. Still no takers from the front, but I did see Shockey Tarpley look like he pulled off.
Yeah, lots of takers in the back. Cody Rivera's coming in hot.
Shockey Tarpley was part of the group that was leading that second pack, so this second pack looks like they're working together. They're going to pit together.
Declan George overshot his stall. Brett Bennett currently in pit road. Looks like it's going to be fuel only for the number 47. They are starting to roll off pit road.
We'll see what that second pack does to this lead pack. If the lead pack starts to come down here.
It's more.
Some of the lead pack is going to come in.
Aaron Brown, a lock up there for the Brady Floyd. Aaron Brown, number 1 pit box. He's going to take at least right sides here. Right side's down. And just 2 tire stop for Aaron Brown. It's race leaders, and it's going to be not everybody. 5 guys coming down this time. Kassane, Walls, Roberts, a couple others.
Of the drivers left to pit yet, we've got Collier, Sawinski, Maffitt, Walker. Burns is in that mix, but we know he already pitted. Looks like Gibbons and Haley still have yet to come down pit road. Should expect them maybe this time by. I think they're pushing it if they go another lap.
Yeah, here they come.
And here comes the rest.
Maffitt locking up. It's right here. Michael Walls, Wyatt Roberts, Ben McDonald. But a huge run on the outside line. It's going to be Aaron Brown, Luke Peters, Bray Floyd. They're going to get around these 3.
They've got a ginormous pack behind them. I believe that's Shockey Tarpley, I believe. I seen back there. Yeah, he's got Cody Webster. And Cody Webster's in the wall. The second pack is going to crash. The caution's going to be out.
Devin Frank. See it unfold right there. Oh, Brad Bennett just squeaking by. Another view of what happened. That's Fiedler on the inside.
And oh my goodness, I found another one that just squeaked by here, Josh. one of our in-race reporters. We might have to go talk to him after this one. Wes Gallo just barely getting through that one. He was right in the middle of it.
It's right here. Looking at a replay that happened before the caution. Swinsky and Collier. Oh, a little contact there. Pit road, and Swinsky got the inside wall. And he had to readjust himself. Left sides go up.
I'm looking at a car that's got some heavy damage. I believe the 31 of Ollie Reeves. Man, I don't know. That right front looks like it needs every part you can imagine off the assembly line put back on it. I think that might be close to a night ender for the driver of the 31.
There's quite a bit of damage on that vehicle. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk to one of our in-race reporters, Canfield. Who did you say?
Well, they were both in the caution. One of them ended up wrecking. The other one got very close. Wes Gallo made it through, and we seen what happened to Cody Webster. But Wes Gallo, boys in the booth, you got a copy?
Sure do. How you doing?
Well, probably a little bit better than you are right now. Do you need a new pair of shorts yet?
Somehow the car's fine. My fire suit is not quite as good.
You did a great job there getting the car checked up. We seen it right before pit stops. Actually, you and your teammate there, you snuck up towards the front of the outside line, and then some chaos happened, and we seen you guys fade back. What did you see from right before the pit stops, and then what did you see there before that wreck took place?
I mean, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You kind of got to read the lines. We saw where it was going to be calm, it was going to be fine, and then we figured we'd kind of make a push. It started getting squirrely like they were trying to wreck, so we kind of just backed out. I mean, it was smart for us, and then coming there, it was kind of hard to tell. Everyone was kind of blending together, which can always be a little bit dangerous. But I can't really say that I saw that one coming, but I'm happy that I was able to avoid it, and my teammates, most of them, were able to minimize it, or damage.
Oh, yeah. You see you're getting double filed here, getting ready to go again. You ready to go and make a push to the front, or are you just going to see what happens and make your call from there?
I feel like we're going to have to see how my teammates are doing on damage repairs. A couple of them were caught in it, but we'll kind of keep sticking to the strategy. We'll push if it's smart, and if they're looking suicidal, we're just going to back off. We got stage in 7 laps, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't really have a plan still.
We know we're not getting any caution for that stage unless that has changed. But we're not quite to halfway yet. But I'll put a hypothetical in your brain here. It's lap 98. You're had a shot to win. Are you throwing caution to the wind and coming home with a steering wheel or a checkered flag, or are we still trying to finish?
We're going for the checkered flag. I'd definitely rather walk around with the steering wheel at that point.
All right, man. Well, hopefully you're in that position at the end of the race. We'll let you go get to work, and I'm going to hold you to it if I see you in that position and you just decide to finish.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I surprise myself, but let's have fun either way. How's that?
Absolutely, man. We're already having fun, and hopefully you are too.
Sure am. Let's do it.
All right, man. Good luck. We'll see you at the end.
Pace car coming off pit road. And we are going to restart. 68 laps to go here in the Daytona 250. Hunter Collier leading the race. Floyd pulls to the outside lane immediately. A little bit of movement. Middle.
You have a little bit of movement right now, and oh, there goes Floyd to the bottom. He wants the race lead back. He wants to be able to control this race. Remember earlier he got control of that outside line, and we heard drivers were complaining about how he was just kind of holding up the field. He's going to try to get to that outside line again and control the field.
So Wyatt Roberts going to lead the inside line once again. And Collier giving a huge push to Floyd. But here comes at 42 with a push by the 4. That is Wyatt Roberts and Sean Cassane.
Somewhere behind that headset and microphone, I know there is a big smile on your face right now, seeing a 42 anywhere near the front, Josh.
It's not just that. I really like his paint scheme too, and I really am so jealous that I don't have a quicker steak and lube near me. Because they are delicious. As that 42 is going to the front.
I think there might be one in Sandusky if you feel like ever taking the drive. Unless it got shut down too. Never know.
I'm live on YouTube, so I will not talk about my amazing love for the state of Ohio. As there's a little bit of shuffling going on up front. Cassane pulls to the outside. Wyatt Roberts still leading that bottom. Oh, we got a crash in the back!
I thought I heard the tire screeching. I was trying to find who was involved. Luke Mahone is slow. I don't know if he was involved.
Fiedler and Micah Walls. Let's see what happened here.
Ooh, there was a stack up in the outside lane. Looks like it starts with maybe out by Cody Rivera's, and it just stacks up. Matthew Miles, Brian Lorenzo, Wes Gallo, who we just talked to. Then it just, that's where Fiedler and Walls end up getting chain reaction. It did stack up by Rivera's. Ooh. Oh, I see where the stack up was. Rivera's. Wow. This could have been a lot bigger than what it was. Rivera's made a great save. He got a bad push going into the corner from Matthew Miles. And that stacked him up in the outside lane. And Michael Wall's just no way to check up before he gets into the back of Brandon Fiedler. Ends up spinning Fiedler around. Webster gets a piece of it. And Kavara gets a piece of it as well. But again, if Rivera's doesn't save that car going into the corner, that is a much bigger wreck than what it was. It's a big credit to Cody Rivera's hanging onto that car.
One thing I want to point out, as far as stack-ups go, when you have a live spotter who is looking at what's going on, your live spotter can let you know, hey, they're stacking. Myself, I actually... and for those of you that watch a lot of JCTV, you'd be familiar with Michael Kruger. I actually was spotting him earlier in Atlanta which of course is now a super speedway, and you know, being able to see the checkups happening in front of him, calling it out, hey, check or stack, you know, and that would allow him to realize it and make a move accordingly. When you don't have a live spotter, you know, a lot of times when you're so close to the car in front of you, you cannot see what's going on, really, other than just the back bumper of the car in front of you. And it's so hard to see those stack ups, and that leads to accidents like this.
Yeah, Josh, I like you bringing up that point, because I do think when I say Michael Walls had no way of checking up for what happened in front of him, you explained it perfectly right there. In real life, a spotter's telling you check up on this lane or that lane or where the checkups are, but if Michael Walls is just using, you know, the computer spotter, which I assume is what he's using, he has no way of knowing that, you know, Fiedler was even off the gas right there, and maybe even hitting the brakes trying to check up. And I'm not sure if you were watching the leaders or not right now, but Adam Kuhn, that might be an out of context JCTV moment right there. I'm not sure what I just seen coming off of pit road. That looked like like the scene from Cars where McQueen just gasses it up at the end of pit road. I'm not even sure what car number that was.
So
I'm gonna assume it was Kuhn's, but I'm not sure.
I believe so. Yes, Jordan Coots. So here's the fun part. Stage is at the end of lap 40. We are not going to have a yellow for the stage, but you think of this like a green, white, checkered. It's going to be 2 laps. Honestly, we're not going to have a yellow for the stage, but we might have a yellow for the stage, if that makes sense. If these guys are really going to start fighting hard, trying to get those points, the first points awarded of the season, we may see an accident, and this could get interesting.
Bold prediction: we aren't even going to make it to the stage before the caution comes out.
So right now, Sean Cassane is the leader. He chose the outside. Wyatt Roberts going to be on the inside. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here as the pace car is making its way to the safety of pit road. And bottom line, getting ready. Tarpley all over Roberts' back bumper. Green flag is waving. Cassane has no help. He is going to get clear, though. He's going to be able to pull down to the bottom. He will if he chooses to. He's currently staying outside. Floyd is also going to be clear. What's Floyd going to do? He's going to stay to the outside as Cassane goes low. And now Cassane going to get a push from Wyatt Roberts. And Brown going to give a push to Floyd. We are even on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Luke Peters been out back all day. Now he's third car on the outside line. Right now in the third position, as Sean Cassane's going to pull up and take back that third position, even the second position right now. But Luke Peters, definitely one of those drivers that just laid in the back, and now, as we're going to take the white, I believe, for the stage, he's in a position where he can get some points here.
Last lap of the stage. Floyd still leading this race. Does Brown do anything? Does Peters do anything? They all move to the bottom, as well as Andretti Robinson. Peters pulling back to the high side.
Somebody's kind of stuck in the middle right now as Peters is giving a push. Looks like they are going to clear Brett Bennett. I'm not sure what car that was. I think it was Andretti Robinson was kind of stuck in the middle. Looked like Brett Bennett had help and was going to make it to his outside. Right now, Floyd leading them to the stage flag. Does Brown make a move?
Pulls out a line. Brown got it! barely.
0.007 is going to be the stage gap. We're going to keep it green, though. We'll see if they calm down now after the stage points have been awarded. Still not even halfway in this race.
now
Brown going to back out.
And I think Wyatt Roberts might... No, he pulled back in the line. Brown got what he wanted. Now he's going to go to the back, let these guys have some fun. Peters out ahead now, leading the inside line ahead of Floyd. Andretti Robinson leading the outside line. Now it's going to be Kassane, who's a couple car lengths ahead of Robinson. Kassane's trying to side draft with Floyd, and now the help comes for the outside line as now Floyd is out there, leaving Peters out to dry.
We've seen this all race long with Brady Floyd. He just wants to be in front of whatever line is leading the race. He wants to control the race as much as possible. Peters going to back out of it. Vascome going to go to the back.
And here comes Brett Bennett, Trevor Burns. They're on the bottom. Brett Bennett has been the bridesmaid so many times on JCTV.
And how about Traver Burns? I didn't mention it when we had that caution after the pit cycle, but Traver Burns was a lap down before everybody went into the pit cycle. All the drivers get down pit road. We have that wreck, and Traver Burns is able to survive what was really a mistake on pit road and keep himself on the lead lap.
Yeah, great recovery there. By luck, I believe, for Trevor Burns. And now working his way to the front with Brett Bennett.
Well, and Josh, you know what they say sometimes, and it especially goes for super speedway races, sometimes it's better to just be lucky than good.
Amen.
But when it comes to Traver Burns, a driver we should mention, no stranger to being at the front of the field when it comes to these drafting races. I believe just a couple weeks ago, maybe a little over a month now, got himself a win in a clash race with, I believe it was the Slide Jawb Racing Series.
That is correct. Tuesday nights. Trevor Burns, side-by-side finish. Took the clash win in Slide Jawb.
That inside line, I mean, you look at Brett and Traver, two guys that have experience being up front right now. I mean, we've seen Brett lead a ton of laps in the clash with the SAAC series just a couple weeks ago. Traver getting a win in the clash with the Slide Jawb series. And another driver that, since I've been around this SAAC series when we took it on just, I believe, 2 seasons ago now, that just pulled to the inside is now leading the inside line, Chalky Tarpley. Just a matter of time before he gets a win under his belt, too. Always seems to be at the front here when we go to these drafting tracks.
Yeah, Tarpley now leading the race. As funny as it is, this is the first time I get to call our first race for SAAC of the season being at Daytona. Saw Floyd pull down to the bottom line in front of Robinson. Floyd went back to the outside. He's got no help. Kassane is out there, but he's several car lengths back.
I was just getting ready to say,
no!
Comes in Kassane. Oh, he makes a... Oh my goodness, that should have been a wreck.
So, top 5 cars all clear. Tarpley, Bennett, Burns, Roberts, and Robinson.
Outside starting to make a run again. Kassane all over the back bumper of Floyd. He's got Lorenzo right up his back bumper. Outside line starting to get formed. Look who's fourth car in the line right there. Wes Gallo's starting to make his way up here. And still not out of it after being in a couple incidents now. Is his teammate of Brandon Fiedler. Those two in the outside lane, the fourth and fifth car in line, starting to sneak their way back up here. Bennett and Tarpley looking like they want to go to the outside and block that run that Floyd is starting to build.
They stay on the bottom. Floyd back out front.
Top four cars in the outside lane just looking a little more organized in the bottom lane right now. As they went down that back straightaway, it looked like they were just bumper to bumper pretty much the entire back straightaway. Somebody gets loose back there in the background. They save it. We keep it green. Tarpley and Floyd still side by side for this race lead.
Caution.
We got a caution. Oh no. I think that was the 50 of Luke Peters I seen go around.
Indeed it is. Oh. Okay.
Josh?
What in the world happened with Michael Walls? So we gotta go. Here we go. Back here, Michael Walls. Oh, stack up. Big time. Out into the 98. More contact, more contact. And Luke Peters just an innocent bystander.
Yeah, and I don't like to call very many people out being a commentator, but that's I just gotta say that's avoidable. I understand we're super speedway racing. We're not even halfway yet, and emotions get high sometimes. But that just to the 98, that just doesn't look good.
Pit road is going to be open. And everybody come down pit road. As this will be halfway.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, I can hear Jonathan Parker saying that was somehow Michael Wallace's fault still. And I can hear the excuse being, it's just because Micah was in the race.
Lorenzo going to win the race off pit road. Floyd, Frank, Miles, Walker, Gibbons, Haley, Maffitt, Burns, and Tarpley going to be the top 10.
Ronzo wins the race off pit road by a margin. 100% fuel only there, as a lot of drivers actually took tires. So I was watching pit cycle there. But I will say, if you're a guy like Lorenzo, I mean, you haven't really been up front much this race. And the only way to get up front is either methodically picking your lane through the draft and slowly working your way up there, or exactly how he just did it. Do what the field doesn't and get that track position.
So Aaron Brown stage winner. He dropped to the back after getting the stage. We're going to actually talk to him and see what he has to say as our stage winner. So, Aaron Brown, it's boys up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, Aaron, you won the stage and immediately backed out of it and went to the back. So congrats on the stage win. What's kind of the game plan right here moving forward as we're just now getting to the back half of this race?
Well, my game plan now is probably going for track position. I know that's very important. It was kind of there. Kind of got lucky with Brady and Luke. We were all together there. So kept us up front, and I'm going to try and work my way up front. Because it's one stop no matter what now, so everyone's going to have to pit. So that's why I dropped back earlier. We're going to try and short pit everyone, but it didn't really work out that way. So.
All right, well. You've been looking for your teammates and trying to work with them as well, or?
Yeah, we're gonna try our best, but I'm gonna try and get up front. I know Brady loves to be up front, so we're gonna me and Brady are gonna hopefully try and work together, stay up front. Got a few more. I'm not entirely sure, but Proximity and Age are trying to work together here. So.
All right, well, congrats on the stage win, and maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later.
I hope so. Thank you.
That is our stage winner, Aaron Brown, driver number 7. Brian Lorenzo is the race leader. Very, very quick pit stop for that number 1 machine. 6 seconds. And that tells me that was fuel only.
One of the only drivers right now that I can see that may have taken fuel only on that stop. Maybe the 13 of Haley also might have been fuel only, because I don't believe he was this far forward. But we also had to choose, so depending on where drivers chose, that could affect the positions as well.
Base car is in. And green flag back out.
Outside line already. Pulling 4, maybe even 5 cars with them to the front. Lorenzo just not getting the good restart that you would expect. Interesting that he chose bottom there. We've seen... I don't even remember who was in the lead at that point. But we've seen a leader last restart take the outside line, and it actually worked out for him. I think as this race grows on longer, those are the lessons you got to learn with this league having the choose come. Leader just, I feel like you almost have to take the outside no matter who's pushing you. Outside line just gets such a good start.
Here comes Gibbons with help from, is that Walker? Yes, that is Walker. Gibbons Walker on the outside line, but right now it is Miles. Well, Lorenzo pulled to the outside. So now Miles is out there on an island of his own. No help, as it's 2 car lengths back to Floyd. Gibbons all over the place. Come up to the back of Lorenzo, try to push him. Lorenzo is clear. He pulls down to the bottom in front of Miles.
Right now, it looks like Lorenzo actually willing to play that game that we talked about. Yep, he's going to do it, Josh.
And now he's going to be in the sucker hole.
Both lines.
Oh, man, a little bit of contact between Lorenzo and Gibbons.
For a moment.
Gibbons in the wall. Gibbons losing a ton of positions here.
That all started with Lorenzo trying to manage both lanes. They almost ended up 4 wide there for a split second as Walker was to the outside of Lorenzo and Gibbons was stuck in the wall. And then when Lorenzo tried to tuck in, Tarpley almost left him in the middle. Now we see it mostly single file here as Brown gonna pull out and he's gonna have help with Lorenzo. Floyd gonna pull up there and get in front of Brown. And Walker gonna follow. So we've got 4 cars in line right now. Haley is coming to be the 5th car on the outside line. He's bringing that 81 machine and the 4 machine with him. Ooh, stack up on the bottom there. I believe that might have been...
Wyatt Roberts went down to the apron.
And the pack is catching a lap car currently.
That is the 24 of Mike Wallace. He is down on the apron. Going to be out of the way of these guys. Walker down to the bottom. Quentin Haley. Maffitt. They're all on the bottom. Trying to get to the front. Right now it is Floyd controlling this race. That inside line has some steam going for it. Oh, interesting push there by Brown to Floyd. Got Floyd a little loose.
Yeah, but that's the kind of push you gotta get from the driver in the second position of either line. You gotta be willing to get all over the back bumper, and you gotta be willing as the lead driver to just take those bumps and keep going. Bronzo gonna pull it to the bottom. He's gonna take the run he's got and try to go for the lead. Kassane gonna stay tucked in, 3rd car in line. Brown gonna drop down. Now Floyd gonna drop with him. That's gonna leave Kassane out there on the outside. Wes Gallo and Brandon Fiedler coming to the rescue to help out Kassane on that high line.
Oh, Floyd. Once again, another huge shot from Brown. Here comes Kassane. Kassane is almost to the outside of Brown. Brown coming up. He just barely gets there. And now, Lorenzo in the sucker hole as Walker pulls down to the bottom. We're going to be 3 wide for a split second. They get it back sorted. Kassane goes back up to high behind Brown, and now they all migrate down to the bottom.
Here comes Wes Gallo. Kassane gonna pull back out in front of Wes Gallo. Wes Gallo's got help from Lorenzo. And Floyd gonna pull up in front of Kassane.
Aaron Brown getting pushed from Walker, but it is Kassane. Gonna pull down to the bottom. Trying to get the side draft. Kassane going to be side by side with Floyd. Aaron Brown giving a huge push to Kassane.
Gallo doing a great job in that outside lane, just getting on Floyd when he needs to. As you see, oh, almost a bad push from Lorenzo. That could have been big right there on the back straightaway. As now, looks like Fiedler maybe backed out there thinking there was going to be a wreck, and now he's stuck outside, going to drop to the back most likely. No, he falls in line.
Aaron Brown moving to the outside with Walker.
And now there's a big gap from Kassane back to Haley that needs to be filled in. Otherwise, this inside line is just going to die with momentum.
Floyd moving to the top in front of Brown. Oh,
I'm
Brown's
trying to let him up. Now Kassane giving Gallo a shot in the corner. Gallo gonna get a little loose. They hang on to it. Inside line starting to pull back up here just a little bit. Kassane giving another shot to Gallo as they enter the corner right there.
the rods are going to pull down to the bottom.
Pull down just in front.
Coming to 37 laps to go. Floyd, Brown, Walker, Mahone, and Robinson, the top 5. Let's do JCTV. Turn it up. Floyd still leading this race. Aaron Brown pushing Floyd. McMahon sitting good in third place right now. They are catching Ollie Reeves. Ollie currently 5 laps down.
Josh, I would expect some of these drivers to start making their move here. we're getting ready to be within about, I'd say within the next 10 laps, we're going to be hitting our money stop here. And from that point on, the pay window is going to open for a lot of these drivers. It's going to be go time. If you're sitting around back in 15th or even 10th on back, it's going to be about time to start making your way towards the front.
Yeah, this guy's
Speaking of making your way to the front.
Oh, Floyd just got the wall. Eric Brown pulls down to the bottom as well as Mahone. Not sure what happened.
Ready to say, speaking of making your way to the front, didn't we just see that 50 car spun around backwards less than 20 laps ago? Now sitting 4th car on the outside.
Yeah. Peters. Not giving up. So, you know, they say at the end of races there are no teammates, but you know, I think right now, if you don't have your teammates around you, you need to get your teammates around you to try to get up to the front. We are coming to 30 laps to go, John, and Dale Jr. mentioned that at these kind of races, he wants to lead. He wants to control this field with 30 laps to go. If he can control it from 30 down to the end, and he's satisfied. That's exactly what he wants to do. And here we are, 30 laps to go. Floyd leading this race. Robinson in second. But it is Fiedler leading the inside line. And Collier going to pull down to the inside now in front of Fiedler. 98 trying to lead some laps.
Another driver that was involved in that crash just a little under 20 laps ago. He does have some right front damage, so I'm not sure how well his car is going to lead a line as you see Fiedler moving all around behind him. It tells me that he's not going as fast as Fiedler would like him, and yeah, you can see it. The inside line is just dying. Collier not in a position to be able to lead the line, but that's going to allow some drivers like Webster, Kassane here to be able to pull down.
Kassane going anywhere he possibly can to get around Floyd. He's now just going to stick behind Floyd. So here comes Webster.
They're going to be 3 wide right now as Jody Robinson's going to be the lone car up on the high side. See if anyone comes to pick him up. Got some drivers looking like they're thinking about it, but still 3 wide right there.
Guevara right there in the mix. Oh, Robinson up at the wall.
And that's now just going to drop the driver of that 45 back even further than what he had originally already was. As now we just talked about it, Josh. We're getting ready to come to money stop time. You see that top lane again starting to just kind of fizzle out. Sean Kassane not content to be at the back of this field, though. He's going to try and get help from Aaron Brown to get back to the front.
Well, honestly, sometimes it's better to be up front when you pit. More track position. And I think that's what Kassane is going for here. Oh, my!
Well, that was a close move there to get to the bottom.
It was Matthew Miles.
Hey, he chopped the nose of Eric Heater. Both drivers did a great job keeping it together. That shuffled Luke Peters back to the high lane. Luke Peters had to take evasive action. He's going to now pull down in front of Heater. Now it's just Brian Lorenzo and Sean Hussein up there on the high line. Next car to come help them is going to be Trevor Burns and Brett Bennett. They're in line together.
Lorenzo actually pulls down to the bottom, so it's just Hussein out there all by his lonesome. There is a hole just behind Lorenzo. It's going to close quickly.
And here comes the help. Trevor Burns, Brett Bennett.
Drivers coming down pit road.
Wyatt Roberts. We do have pit stop starting. Even Ollie Reeves, who, as we talked about, just currently 6 laps down, has nothing to gain other than just helping drivers who probably use his help.
A little bit of trouble getting on pit road.
Insane with the run
From Devin Frank. He was in the grass. He missed the commitment line.
The Saints got a run here as we go into turns 3 and 4. With help from Trevor Burns and Brett Bennett. Be interested to see who pits here.
Nobody.
No takers. Hussein gonna clear. Burns is clear. We'll see if he hops down. He does not. He's gonna continue taking the help from Brett Bennett. Hussein trying to block. Burns wants to get around him. As they are coming up on a lap car, Michael Walls.
It's just those 4 drivers out there, and now Hussein gonna go down to the bottom. Walls staying against the wall. Drivers pitting, and it's gonna be everybody but these 4.
Pit. One car in the grass.
That is Guevara.
And I think he may have also missed the commitment line. Oh, we've got calamity. Matthew Miles. Looks like he missed his pit box.
Let's watch the replay of Guevara.
Yeah, he missed the commitment cone by a good amount.
And see Matthew Miles. Oh, him and Luke Peters. Spin right in front of Lorenzo. And Miles overshoots his
Dangerous
box.
pit road right there.
Trevor Burns, Brett Bennett, Sean Hussein, and Wyatt Roberts in pit road. They are going to start rolling off. Wyatt Roberts, Brett Bennett way ahead. Matthew Miles right ahead of Trevor Burns. Now, so Miles is 1 lap down here, but guys, this might actually be beneficial, as unfortunate as it is for Miles. This might be beneficial for Roberts, Bennett, and Trevor, as Wyatt Roberts, Brett Bennett, Trevor Burns, and Matthew Miles, those guys are teammates. All 4 of them on a team together.
Oh, right now the pack actually catching up, led by Luke Mahone. They're going to catch Bennett and Roberts and move high, leave these 2 hanging. It'll be interesting to see if they pull back down and let Bennett and Roberts join the draft, as here comes Floyd, Fiedler, and Ollie Reeves. They're all going to pull high and leave Bennett and Roberts behind. But now you see right there, that pack kind of splits now. Floyd going to be the odd man out here. It's just going to be Floyd, Fiedler, and Reeves up on the top.
So Luke Mahone in control of the race. 20 laps to go here in the Daytona 250. Mahone, Brown, Collier, Kuntz, and Webster, the top 5. And you see there are 2 different packs.
Something that I think is kind of going to affect when these guys start racing again. And when I say racing, they're always racing when they're under green. I mean, when they start battling each other. Third car in line right now, the lead pack, Hunter Collier. We've already seen him try to lead a line. And he still got that right front damage, and he ended up checking up a line. He wasn't able to lead. So, right now, I'm Aaron Brown or Luke Mahone. I want to know who that 98's going to go with, because we know he can't go by himself. He has to tow off somebody. And I want him to follow me if I'm either one of these two up front right now.
Well, you know Mahone is not going to move off the bottom until Brown does. This Brown is giving a huge shot too, Luke Mahone.
Well, and it's interesting. Unlike the green flag pit stop we had earlier in the race, Josh, it seems like this one, the pack got spread out, and they're much more calm right now. Drivers almost content to just make it to the end at this point and then decide to race for it when we get into, I would say, probably 10 to go here in about 7 laps. I do notice, though, looks like that second pack is catching this lead pack. Just a little bit more organization out of that second pack.
Eric Heater was in the second pack here. That is led by the 07 of West Gallo. Heater actually just came down pit road. He bailed out and now on pit road. Not sure exactly what for, unless if it was some kind of issue where he did not get enough fuel in the car.
I went back and looked at the replay, and he did just bail out, but I seen fire come out of the pipe, so I can only assume that and this is pure speculation, we have the new auto fuel setting. Maybe the driver of that 99 turned that auto fuel setting off and forgot to add fuel to the car, because once you turn off that auto fuel setting, sometimes it puts your
Collier makes a move
to 0.
Collier makes a move. Mahone goes to the outside the block. Aaron Brown now with a push by Kuntz, who just got a shot from Webster, and Aaron Brown's going to be squirrely. They're trying to save it.
They save it, but guess
who's
seeing that?
Never mind. We got a spin. I couldn't tell who it was. It was the 27. We now have a caution. That was Kuntz that did spin out.
No other drivers involved. Kuntz gets it back going, but we're gonna have some chaos now.
It all started with a shot from the 77 of Cody Webster. Stack these guys up. You see there the spin, and Kuntz comes back out on track, locks up the brakes, and then comes to a stop. No damage on Jordan Kuntz's car, but those tires are probably really, really hot.
Gotta wonder if any of these drivers are thinking come down and top up just in case of overtime. I see Luke Mahone. He's riding the apron right now, just trying to save fuel. It looks like, ooh, Aaron Brown fakes him out. Webster and Collie are gonna come down.
So it looks like Heater might have blown an engine. Possibly shut off entering turn 3, and it's only running about 300 RPM. I think we should talk to one of our in-race reporters.
Kind of a guy that I think has recovered most of this race. I think we should probably talk to that 77 to Cody Webster sitting right there in the fifth position. Was, and then he came down pit road.
Let's go ahead and see if we can dial up Webster. And actually, he is here. Canfield, go ahead and talk to him.
Cody Webster, it's boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right. Well, we've seen you come down pit road right there. You kind of quietly made your way back to the front. Seen you involved in an incident earlier in the race. What's the race been like for you, and what do you got here for what's going to be looking like the last 10 laps or so?
I finally got my car fixed right there. Mainly top off fuel and to get my car finally fixed. That's why I came down. But honestly, I'm gonna charge like hell and try to see what I can do. Get back up there. Just topped off because I think we might use more than one green white checkered, and that's all I was good for. So we'll have to see what happens. But this race has been, man, nothing but craziness for me. I don't know what happened on the wreck that I was involved in that broke my toe, but it's definitely been a struggle to try to get the speed back in the car, but we finally got it, so glad to see that I could get back up to the field. So let's see if I can do it again in like just over 10 laps.
Oh, you guys are coming to the choose right here, and I gotta ask you, is it gonna be a steering wheel or a checkered flag for you coming down to the end of this race?
I will say if I have to put someone in the wall again for a win, I will. So, yes, steering wheel, or checkered flag or whatever you want to give me at the end. I will take whatever you guys will give me.
All right, man. Well, best of luck. We hope to talk to you again at the end of this race.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was just saying there while my mic was muted was Sean Cassane just hit Ollie Reeves hard. Not exactly sure what happened there. As far as why Ollie was stopped, looks like Ollie might have stopped on the apron to let cars by. That was a hard hit there for Cassane, but we're getting ready to go green. It's Luke Mahone gonna lead us to the green. Green flag, back out. 11 to go. I'm sorry, 12 to go.
We got a lot of different players up front, but there's one player that's been up here all day that's still up here. That's Brady Floyd. He was leading that outside line there, but now he's got Luke Mahone in front of him. Wyatt Roberts and Brett Bennett working well on the bottom. They've got Traver Byrne hanging back just a little bit. Ooh, little bit of a bad bump from Brett. It's going to get both of them loose. They both go below the double yellow line and re-enter the track safely. But Josh, it's go time. Team window's open right now. These drivers are going for it.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and I mentioned Roberts, Bennett, and Burns are teammates. Currently all lined up on the bottom line. Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota. Roberts.
Racing is still happening on track. I'll just very quickly double back to the incident with Sean Kassan. I'm looking in Discord. Looked away from his screen for 1 second and sure enough ran into car stopped on the apron.
Burns, Bennett, Roberts, they're clear. They can control this.
Oh, and one of our in-race reporters, Wes Gallo, is going to get stuck on the high side and left out to dry. No help for Wes Gallo right now.
There were 3 wide. Walker to the high side.
Whoa, Traber, hang on to it.
Traber not in a position where he wants to be. They're going to be 4 wide. The 07 spins. Caution. Wes Gallo. Man, you were just talking about how he was up there, not where he wanted to be, and now he really doesn't want to be.
You hate it for him, and that took out a couple of different guys there involved in that wreck. Lorenzo got a piece of it. Haley gets a little bit in the right rear. Brown gets some in the front. It's a position nobody wants to be there, but you could say it all starts with Traber Burns, but I gotta say, Traber Burns, nothing wrong done there, just trying to innocently rejoin traffic. Haley giving him plenty of room. And I just don't think Gallo knew how many cars he had below him. Lorenzo kind of has to stay where he's at, and Gallo comes down as if they're 3, doesn't know that they're 4 wide at that moment. Just a bad position to be in.
So I want to take a look, and I might have backed it up a little bit too far, but here's where the top 3, Roberts, Bennett, and Burns, get ahead, and Walker pulls to the outside and made a little bit of contact with Burns. This is where it all started from, with Burns falling. Lost a ton of momentum, and a little bit of contact there with Andretti Robinson, I believe. Trying to get back up into line. He's doing a great job holding it down on the apron, though. And then, yeah, just big stack up. They were 4 wide, and that's what brought out the yellow.
And I will say, it wasn't my pick to win this race, but I did make a sidebar comment after we did our picks that Brett Bennett, good at these plate tracks, good at these drafting tracks, and showed it a couple weeks ago how good he can be. Very well could have a shot to get his first win on a live broadcast. Currently sitting P2, finally put himself in some good track position here late in the race. Hasn't been up here the entire race, but has hung around this area of track position a couple times. But now, when it counts, where you need to be up here, he's here. And he's got teammates. He's got help.
Got some reports that there's other contact, Devin Frank and Brad Sawinski under this yellow. I tried looking for it. I didn't see it. Doesn't look like the damage is really too bad for Brad Sawinski, who is 9 laps down currently. So we are coming to choose, it looks like, Roberts and Bennett. They're both taking the high. No, well, okay. Well, Bennett actually going to take the low line. He faked me out.
I did go back and find that contact between Sawinski and Devin Frank. Driver's just checking up for the field. Sawinski was going to come onto pit road either way, and Frank just didn't check up fast enough. Very minimal contact to the rear end of Sawinski.
And just want to give a shout out to Adam. It's been the eye in the sky, feed me information all race long. He was on the pre-race show with me, and just hanging out. It's a big shout out to Adam for all he's been doing tonight. Appreciate it. As always. So we're getting ready to go to restart with 6 laps to go. Wyatt Roberts going to restart on the outside line with Brett Bennett on the inside. You know, we saw, if you watched the ARCA race, it was a little bit of you know, teammate game. I think we don't have to worry about you know, anybody being a mean teammate here at this exact moment. But pretty soon, you know, it's going to be teammates out the windows. Base car is going to come in. And green flag is out. Wyatt Roberts with a great jump. He is going to pull down in front of Brett Bennett, as I expected him to. Wyatt Roberts just not close enough, so Brett now going to get up there. Now going to push Wyatt Roberts. Walker getting a push from Maffitt on the outside line, though. It's not going to be long. They're going to be there.
Yeah, and we heard Walker talk about the outside line is where you want to be. Brett and Roberts are both going to be clear for now, but it looks like Walker's going to get to the outside of Brett. I don't know if I'm that 47 and 42, I think I want to pull up here and lead that outside line.
I am kind of surprised that they both didn't take the top, honestly. So 5 laps to go.
3 cars clear. If you're Luke Mahone, where do you go? Brady Floyd's going to get himself up there and to the front of the outside line.
Right now, all they can hope for is that they just keep having issues. Brady Floyd going to get a huge push from Walker. Roberts still leading this race for now, but Floyd going to pull down in front of Roberts.
I see Traver Burns back there in the background. He's moving top to bottom, trying to get back up here to his teammates and help them out.
But 4 laps to go. It is Walker and Floyd side by side for the race lead. 3 wide for 4th. Oh, we got a spin. Andretti Robinson.
Oh, that's going to be the big one.
Like 4 cars survived. Tarpley, Quentin Haley, Matthew Miles. So many others. Take a look at our blimp cam.
Got to think, Andretti Robinson had to have just thought he was going to be clear and tried to make the move just a little too early there. Trying to follow Walker. Walker made the move up. And if he makes that move just a second later, he might be clear. But made it 1 second too early, and we wad him up right there out of the tri-oval.
I gotta imagine it's Brady Floyd in full fuel conservation mode right now. He is way out ahead of the pace car on the apron, going slow, clutch in. Yeah, he's got that car shut off. Picking up speed now.
And fair is fair. Let's be fair about it. This is not a normal real-life scenario by any means of the context. If this were real life and a driver pulls in front of the pace car, I mean, in NASCAR, they're probably going to either tell him to get behind the pace car or be black flagged. But with the way iRacing works, he's able to go ahead and get in front of the pace car, and as long as he's back behind the pace car before he crosses the start-finish, no harm, no foul.
So we are going to have overtime.
And I believe with overtime, drivers who maybe didn't put as much fuel in the tank as they could have. Again, we mentioned the auto fuel setting that iRacing has. Some drivers probably cutting it close here on fuel. Might be a question of who makes it to the checkered.
So, I want to talk to somebody. And, you know, we're not going to have to go too far. But you know, Adam, what we got going on this week?
Yeah, Josh, tomorrow night, you mentioned earlier the DI9 NAOR series going back to a road course at Circuit of the Americas. Different layout like you mentioned earlier tonight. I think that's going to be exciting to see that form and what they're going to do with that different layout tomorrow night. 8:45 right here on JCTV. And then Saturday night, Chicagoland, we mentioned earlier. It's going to be a lot of fun for race number 7. I think it's going to be a lot of competitive battles throughout the field like we kind of saw a little bit last week. So I think it's going to be a little bit more tamer version of what we saw last week at Fontana. So it's going to be another mile and a half Saturday night, but Tuesday night we saw a very fun slide job race at Las Vegas. That was a lot of fun to call alongside you and Dawson. So there's a lot to look forward to this weekend still tonight. After tonight.
I'm telling you, I think I'm really looking forward to COTA. It's going to be back-to-back road courses for the DI9 Designs Anywhere series. It should be fun. And looking forward to Chicagoland as well. I'm not going to be producing that race. I'm not going to be racing it either. I won't even be able to watch it live, but I am excited to go back and watch it when I get the opportunity to. I'll actually be in Detroit on Saturday watching Monster Jam at Ford Field. So that's exciting. Looking forward to that. But Chicagoland should be fun. It's always a fun track. And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, Alonso Chicano, I think he's one to watch, that race. I've called it Chicagoland before. And if I was there, I think he'd be my pick to win, honestly. But we're here for the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series season opener. We're going to go green for a green-white checkered here. Attempt number 1. Freddie Floyd leaving the inside line. Walker leaving the outside line. The pace car going to make its way to the safety of pit road. And Floyd inside the restart zone. Green flag is waving. Here we go.
Brett Bennett giving a great push to Blake Walker in that outside line. See if that's going to be beneficial to them as they go through turns 1 and 2. Bennett right now all over the rear bumper of the 88. Bennett going to pull down. He wants the lead, and he wants to get it now.
That inside line just does not have momentum. Actually, everybody's moving out of the inside line.
Here comes Traver Burns through the middle.
Traver's side by side with Brett. Oh, Brett Bennett's going to spin.
Gonna get turned.
Hard into the inside wall. We're still green. And white flag is out. Last lap here at Daytona. Luke Mahone staying right on the back bumper. Now here comes that bottom line Collier. Gibbons moves down. They're going to make contact. They're going to spin. Only a few drivers get through. More hard contact into the inside wall. It's McDonald, Mahone, Walker. Mahone still all over the back bumper. McDonald has his work cut out for him if he wants to try to win this race. What's Mahone going to do? He looks high. He looks low. Walker's going to spin. They're going to make contact now. It's McDonald. After I just said he's going to have his work cut out for him, he's going to come checkered flag waving. Ben McDonald is the winner.
The win.
Brady Floyd second. Brian Lorenzo third. Wow. It's McDonald burning it down. At Daytona, no sweeter place to take a win and do donuts than Daytona International Speedway. I've been fortunate enough to win here in an official race, the Daytona 500 last year. And I'll tell you, it was the biggest win I have had since joining sim racing in 2016. So, let's go ahead and look at our unofficial race results. Ben McDonald, race winner. Brady Floyd second, Brian Lorenzo third, Chase Gibbons fourth, Jordan Kuntz fifth, Hunter Collier sixth, Wes Gallo seventh, eighth is Andretti Robinson, ninth, Aaron Brown, and 10th, Pierce Maffitt.
11th is going to be credited to Cody Webster. 12th is going to be Brandon Fiedler. 13th is going to be to the 13 of Quentin Haley. Devin Frank going to bring it home in the 14th position. 15th is going to go to Wyatt Roberts. 16th, Traver Burns. 17th, Matthew Miles. 18th is Amir Bascombe. 19th is going to go to Blake Walker. 20th, Luke Mahone. 21st is going to be Luke Peters. 22nd, Declan George. 23rd, Brett Bennett. 24th, Joseph Cavara. 25th, going to go to Cody Rivera's. 26th, Shockey Tarpley. 27th, going to be Sean Kassane. 28th, Ali Reeves. 29th, Brad Swinsky. Michael Wall's going to bring it home in 30th. And rounding out the field here tonight is going to be Eric Heater in 31st.
All right, let's go ahead and talk to our top three. Starting with our third place finisher, Brian Lorenzo. Hey Brian, finished third tonight. It was a pretty wild one out there all night long, but how'd you get it done? Bring it home third.
What did that NASCAR driver just said? That he wasn't gonna lift until he saw God or the checkered flag? Yep, that was pretty much the strategy with 2 to go. Once we got up to the front. Can't believe we were able to get third, to be honest. I had this crazy save off of turn 2.
Now the field pretty much imploded there on the last lap. You were able to squeak on by, and there was still some more wrecking, and was able to get on by that as well. What was it like just kind of driving through on the last lap with every little bit of chaos happening?
It was pretty simple. Like I said before, just not lifting at all. I'm looking at the replay right now. I got behind the 98. Once I got behind him, I was like, I'm not lifting no matter what. 3 through a block, and then that just caused like a massive wreck off the corner. And then from there, it was just all about recovering. And luckily, I was able to get with my teammates, and my teammates were able to help me recover to third place.
All right, well, congrats on the third, but before we let you go, any sponsor shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah. Not to any sponsors, but thank you to Adra, Velocity Esports, new team, for letting me create my own team, being the backing of that team, and feels good to bring home a pretty good result for the first race for the team. Thanks to EG as well. Those boys were helping us all day as well. But then thank you to Cody and you guys for coming and putting on a show, and I'm glad. I think everyone had fun. For the guys who didn't wreck.
Alrighty, well, great job at the third place finish, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Brian Lorenzo, your third place finisher. John, I believe you have Grady Floyd.
Indeed, I do. Our second place finisher, Brady Floyd. First of all, congrats on the second place. You survived the, I guess not really survived, but you make it through the melee there on the final lap. Take us through the race and how it went for you. We've seen you up front most of the race, trying to control as much of the race as you could, and just come up that much short right there at the end.
Yeah, it was an interesting one for sure. Usually these races don't go that cleanly, but I mean, credit to literally everybody in the field. It was a great race. Everybody was able to make moves. Nobody was being like overly stupid. And yeah, I mean, we went like super long on the green flag runs. I think 2 green flag pit stops, if I'm not mistaken. I might be, I don't remember, but yeah, it kind of flew by. And the duels went okay. I mean, that's what you can expect from the 15-lap duels, but yeah, I think the strategy was stay out front and just control what I can and stay ahead of the wrecks. And I seem to be doing that pretty well, but they just weren't wrecking. So we had like a 30-card field at the end. I mean, I did what I can. I put myself in the right spots. Like I said, I think the control was making a couple people not too happy, and I can understand that. But I don't think I was controlling it any dirty way. I think I was just drifting from line to line, staying with the pushers that I trusted. So, got in the right spot. Was leading for the green, white, checkered, and then just the line didn't go. I probably had a chance to hop up, and I didn't. But got sent back there on the first lap of that, and then just managed to make it through the melee. Didn't lift and got quite a bit fortunate where I hit, who I hit, and I don't know how I made it through that. And then it was just a matter of getting lined up with the teammates there at the end, Ollie and Brian, and we just trained our way, and they wrecked ahead of us as well. So nice P2, nice P3. It feels about what we deserved, but not the way I wanted to get it. Obviously, I would have been happier being up there fighting for the win, but I'll take a P2 at Daytona any day.
Next week we go to, I guess you could call it somewhat of a different style track. Still gonna have a big play with the draft, but we go to California Auto Club. With the momentum you get tonight with finishing P2, do you carry some momentum going into California, and does it help your psyche a little bit knowing that you got the job done here tonight, bringing home P2?
I want to be completely honest with you. This is probably the only interview you're going to get with me all season. I am only good at super speedways, and I don't know that we get another one. So, looking forward to Auto Club. I enjoy that track. I think I'll run pretty well there, but I don't think I'll be having any shred of control like I had tonight. So the momentum I don't think really matters. I think everybody kind of gets reset off of Daytona. You got guys that ran really well that didn't finish well. You got guys that ran poorly that finished well. So I think we'll really start to see in the next 2 races who the big contenders are going to be this season. It's certainly not going to be me. I'm happy I had my moment in the sun, but yeah, I mean, Auto Club's always a fun track in this league, so any of the 2 miles make for some good racing. We'll probably even get some more 3-wide there than we got tonight, so looking forward to it.
All right, and last thing before we let you go celebrate your P2, any sponsors, shout-outs, or just thank-yous that you'd like to hand out?
Yeah, obviously you got to thank all the teammates. I think this year we're set up with myself, Ollie, Brian, and Eric Heater, and then we were running with some of the proximity guys tonight and some of the EG guys tonight, so I'd like to thank those teams as well. The sponsors we have, you can find our team, Adria Esports, at adriaesports.com, Fourcloak Media at fourcloak.net, and Pierce Graphics at piercegraphics.com. And thank you guys for broadcasting. I'm sure it was a really fun show.
All right, Brady. Well, congrats again on the P2. We hope to maybe talk to you next week, but we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right, man. Go celebrate your P2, and we'll hopefully talk to you later this season.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
And Josh, I believe you're down there in victory lane with a very, very happy race winner.
There's no place more special in stock car racing than Daytona victory lane. And Ben McDonnell, you know, when Ross Chastain won at Talladega, he said, "I didn't do anything. I just kind of drove straight." And it's kind of what you did tonight. Just, I mean, what a wild last lap.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I got spun out with like a couple cautions, and it was just like, just make it to the end. You know, I wasn't sure if I had damage or not. It felt pretty clean. Just did what I had to do, and you know, was in a great opportunity with just 3 cars at the end out of the backstretch. And you know, I actually did let off just a tiny bit because I kind of wanted to build up a run and hopefully pass both of them. But, you know, the seas just parted, and, you know, that's probably one of the easiest victories I'll ever have on the sim.
This race, all in all, it was a long one. Some green flag pit stops. and some cautions at the end. Just how hard was it just staying focused all throughout this crazy race?
It definitely was hard. Balancing fuel strategy for sure. That came into play. Obviously, everybody had that green flag pit stop there at the beginning, and then just trying to make it all the way on fuel. Just trying to do what I can to hopefully not run out of gas on the last lap, because that's happened plenty of times. And yeah, just driving with these 31 cars, it was just intense the entire time. The runs build up so quickly, and just simply had to let off a ton, you know, got into the back bumper of a couple of people, obviously not on purpose, but that's just how super speedway racing is sometimes. And you know, it's really fun until you get wrecked, but tonight it seemed like everybody kept it together pretty well. There wasn't too many big wrecks. We didn't really have like a big one except for the final lap, maybe the one before. And you know, it seemed like everybody had the right idea to hopefully just make it to the end.
All right, well, before we let you go, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for that 16?
All right, gotta shout out Dr. Pepper. Absolutely love the company. Adra over with Brian, Brady. You know, they didn't really help me out too much. They were kind of doing their own agenda, but you know, we're always teammates. Been that way for a couple of years. Four Cloak Media, Grit Motorsport, Grit Marketing. My personal stuff, Ben McDonald on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, all that other stuff. And thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast tonight. You know, I'll definitely show a bunch of my friends your guys' stuff, and you guys doing a great job. Can't wait to see what you guys bring the rest of the season.
All right, well, congrats on the race win, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
That was race winner, Ben McDonald. So, John, you know, I just thought about this, actually, as I was asking him his sponsors shout-outs. But earlier you made a comment that said it must put a smile on my face seeing the 42 up front, well, and then the 16 win. So, guess the 16 beats the 42 once again, John.
I'm just happy at least somebody can put the 16 in victory lane, because, you know, I've been due for a while and I haven't gotten my due yet.
I think
so. At least we know somebody out there can get it done, because I, for dang sure, haven't figured out how to get it done in a long time.
I hear that. I'm right there with you. But this is an incredible race. Great way to start off a season of the SAAC Coast Cup Series. Season 2. This is their third season altogether. But season 0 was where we started broadcasting, and these guys have been incredible. Love commentating these guys, and they're super awesome to work with. This league is incredible, and so glad we're back for another season. And yeah, John, you mentioned it earlier. We are at Auto Club next week with these guys. Tomorrow night, the DI9 Designs NAOR series is at COTA. It's going to be on the western course, I believe, the west course. Saturday night, the Laser Sim Racing AMSOIL Truck Series is at Chicagoland. And then Monday night, a doubleheader at, well, Daytona International Speedway, where you can catch me in the both races. Trying to drive my 42 machine up front, and so we still have plenty of action coming up, as well as next week, Tuesday, Slide Job Racing League at Dover. Starts at 8:45 p.m. And then already mentioned Fontana next week, 1 week from tonight, for the SAAC Coast Cup Series. The DI9 Designs NAOR series with Pocono. And Saturday night, BSR, AMSOIL Truck Series at Bristol. That, of course, is all next week, right here on JCTV. So on behalf of everybody makes this happen, Jonathan Canfield, Adam Kuhn for being here tonight, and the amazing, outstanding crew at JCTV. I'm Joshua Coppernell, signing off, saying so long, and we will see you next time.